Hi guys, we're back here in New Zealand with our motorhome, and we thought it was time to make a quick video about the experiences we had buying a motorhome in the UK and then shipping it back to New Zealand. So going right back to the beginning, why did we decide to buy a motorhome?
Well, it was all about travel, and we had taken a year off work to go mainly to Europe, and we expected to be in Europe for about 8 months. So 8 months of hotels or paying for accommodation was going to be pretty pricey, and you're also sort of locked into public transport, and the more we looked at it, we were definitely certain that a motorhome was the way to go. Our front room, our reception room, our lounge, our parlour, our dining room, and eventually our bedroom. So this table here comes off. It also allows us to move around. It tends to be that Renee sits over there and I get the little seat over here. Potentially you could have 5, 6, 7 people sitting, but we haven't got that many friends, so that's never going to happen.
And this is our bed. So one of the compromises with having a big living area is that we have a drop down bed. I wasn't too sure about it in the first place, but it turns out it's incredibly comfortable. It's got a proper mattress on it, and I guess because heat rises it's really warm, so we haven't had to worry about having the heater on at night. And then the shipping process, what was that like?
Well, we thought it was going to be really complicated. We thought, oh, this is a whole bureaucratic nightmare we know nothing about. But we found a nice company online called McCullough Ltd, based in Auckland, New Zealand. Great guy who works for them, Steele. He answered all my questions very quickly, reassured us that he knew what he was doing, and that proved to be the case. So we just told him what we wanted. He booked us on a ship. We told him when we wanted it, told us what was required along the way.
And so when we got to Southampton, what did we actually have to do with the van?
Really easy. All we had to do was give it a really thorough clean beforehand, empty it out, and then it was just like going to an airport. But instead of having 1 hour to check in, we basically had a whole week to check in. So we had a week's window to take the van to Southampton, the docks there. We handed them the keys, we handed our shipping note, which is a bit like the ticket, if you like, and then we walked away. That was it.
So it looks like a lot of activity going on here in Wiltshire. What's happening?
Well, after nearly 8 months on the road, it's time for a deep clean. This van is off to Southampton in 2 days' time, and we've got to clean it to the best of our ability. That means getting underneath it, getting on top. Because once it gets off the boat in New Zealand, the New Zealand authorities are pretty thorough. They're looking for things like seeds or bugs, insects. I've got to get into the grill and sort of clean that out with a toothbrush. So deep clean, we've sort of dedicated a whole day. And inside also, I think that's someone else's
Yeah,
job.
that's my job. So we've kind of made a start on the inside, but as you can see, it's definitely a work in progress. Turns out we had a bit more stuff than we thought, but we've sent stuff back to New Zealand already. We are going to give some to some of the charity shops, and there's a little bit we'll still be taking back home. Right, so this has been our home for the last 7.5 months. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. We've handed it over, some paper to show that the keys have gone. It's all locked up, and that's it. Next time we see it will be in Auckland, 2019. So it's been 3.5 months since we saw the van. Last time we saw it, it had a very nice number plate. But ta-da! Now we have our brand new shiny New Zealand number plate. The van has got a whole bunch of new stickers, warrant of fitness, registration, road user charges, all the bureaucracy has been done. And other than a bit of dust that has accumulated here in Auckland, it looks as good as gold. So the reason everything has been done successfully is because of this man here. This is Joe, and Joe works for McCullough Ltd. McCullough Ltd. Now, you guys don't just help people like me with their motorhomes, you do a whole lot of other stuff too, don't you?
That's right. So we are customs brokers and freight forwarders, and we specialise in importing motor vehicles. Whether it's high-end cars from UK, Singapore, USA, Australia. We also do caravans and motorhomes and boats, so anything vehicle related, that's what we specialise in.
Yeah, because as we found out, and we knew nothing about this, there's a whole bureaucracy, there's a paperwork for Africa involved. We knew nothing about this. Luckily our dealers in the UK, they had all the right paperwork, so when Joe asked for it, there it was, and we were able to forward that to Joe. But I don't know much about the Kiwi end. I guess there's a whole lot of stuff that you involve MPI and customs and all that drama, and everything's got to be done in the right order, the right sequence. Is that how it works?
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, look, the paperwork is, we're supposed to be a paperless society, but it's just massive, and if anything, it's only getting more and more. So basically, people contact me. It starts with an email or a phone call. People tell me what sort of motorhome they're looking for. We can recommend dealers. We can even buy the foreign exchange for you. We have much better rates than the bank. Once the purchase is done, then we liaise directly with the dealer regarding the paperwork, the certificate of conformity, the PDI if it's a new vehicle, the original invoice, all those documents that we need, the VX302 temporary registration. Those are the documents we need. Some of them need translation, so there's all these little things that you need to know what you're doing. And then once all that's sort of established, then the client either goes away on their holiday or the motorhome comes straight to the wharf. We arrange the bookings, we arrange the clearances, we put it on the boat for shipping. When it arrives here, we have the customs clearance, we have the MPI, and obviously we also arrange the compliance, the electrical and the gas as well, and have it ready, registered, ready to go. So although it sounds a lot, really all you have to focus on is buying the motor vehicle, and we do the rest. We do it all for you. That's what we're here for, and gosh, I've been doing this for 25 years, so we know what we're doing. And the thing is, it's changing all the time. Like at the moment we've got there's the stink bug in Europe, which is causing a few problems. So you really have to know what you're doing to make the whole thing successful.
Yeah, it would have been awful had we tried to do this by ourselves. As it was, we were swanning around India. Joe did the whole thing. We got an email saying it's ready, need a few dollars, and I think we paid close to $30,000. Most of that was customs, duties, GST, and of course the shipping costs, and all the little compliance things like gas and electricity, all done. One big payment to Joe, and it's done. Very, very stress-free. Highly recommend Joe, and I've got to say, we get no favours from Joe. We're not sort of, there's no kickback here. We just had good service, and we highly recommend him.
And buying versus renting?
Well, we could have rented, but again, that was going to be very expensive, especially for 8 or 9 months. We could have bought second-hand, or we could have bought new, and they both had their advantages and disadvantages.
Advantages of buying new?
Well, by buying new, we didn't have to pay VAT, so long as we exported the vehicle out of the UK. So by buying new, we got a big fat discount of almost 20%, and then we would have to ship it back to New Zealand and hopefully make some choices or make some decisions about that.
Yeah, the exporting though had to be within 12 months, didn't it?
Yes, so we could get it, we could use it, and we had to ship it within 12 months.
And the big question, how much did the shipping all cost?
Well, I can only speak for this one example. I think with different sized vans would have different numbers. The length of time you've had it would also have a bearing on it. But for us, we paid about $10,000 for the shipping. That's based on a cubic metre rate. Then we paid about $17,000 for GST, customs, etc. I think every van is a little bit different, but that's what it cost us. And then we ended up spending about $2,000 for the sort of gas compliance, the electrical compliance, registration, number plates, etc., getting it on the road. So all up, it cost us $29,000. If you had a bigger van, or a newer van, or a more expensive van, or a cheaper van, that number could be quite different. So, now that we're back home, the motorhome's in the driveway, what's the plan?
Well, it's been a bit of a tricky one actually. We've had to make some hard decisions. Obviously it was a case of do we keep it or do we sell it? If we were going to keep it, we need to justify being able to use it a lot, and unfortunately I am now back working full time, and we decided that we wouldn't really use it enough to justify keeping it, but so we did make the decision to sell the van.
Was that a hard decision?
It was a hard decision because I was pretty keen to do some travelling around New Zealand in it, because there's quite a few parts of the country that I haven't seen, but we put it on the market anyway and it sold quite quickly, so we're actually saying goodbye to it tomorrow. Had to change our travel plans a little bit. We were hoping to tiki tour around the country in our motorhome, but it looks like we'll be doing it by car and probably staying in Airbnbs. So we still have more plans to do some New Zealand travels, and we want to go back overseas again, which was our other reason for wanting to sell it.
In fact, I think that was the major reason, knowing that we're going to travel overseas again, and that the motorhome would have been stuck on the driveway for perhaps months and months at a time.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what did you sell it for?
$99,000. So now that we've sold it, do you think the whole thing was worth it?
The whole process, to buy the vehicle, we used it for 8 months, then we shipped it back, and we drove it away. That whole process cost 110,000 New Zealand dollars. Basically it was 80,000 to buy it and about 29,000 to get it on the road in New Zealand. We had transport for 8 months, we had accommodation for 8 months, we got to see some amazing, wonderful places, some nooks and crannies of Europe that we've never have seen had we been stuck in airports and railway stations and bus stations. So yeah, $10,000, I thought it was a bargain. Having said that, we have learned a few tricks and we might have done things a little bit differently. I'm sure, for example, that we could have paid a bit less for the vehicle. When we bought it, we sort of just rolled up naive Kiwis and sort of paid the ticket price or pretty close to it. Now I realise that they do have these specials during the year, in the middle of winter, old stock, that kind of thing. Had I negotiated a bit harder, I'm sure we could have saved ourselves 2, 3, 4, maybe £5,000 at that end. And I'm sure that the selling process, had I been a little bit more patient, had I been prepared to sort of wait a bit longer, we could have got a few more dollars. So instead of losing $10,000, I'm sure that breaking even could be done had I done things differently. Am I complaining? No, I'm not.